to. They're so far behind on R4 when they lock in the Nautilus and hand it over. And they go with the Camille, but the Sylas is a lot, I mean, more of a team fighter. But Camille's picked up, but we already know that they're not going to split push with it.
Yeah. It's very interesting. They did pick less useful ultimates for the Sylas, as Orianna, you can only really sombrero, and World Ender does basically nothing. But Chains of Corruption, very, very good for the Sylas, as well as the ulti coming out from Maokai. Massive AoE root, always going to be a good thing. But it does mean that Deft's life is going to be a real rough one. So we'll see whether he does decide to take something like the cleanse there in that lane.
Here's one of the things that I miss out on. I wish that they would have swapped Smeb to top lane and SoHwan to, you know what I mean? And that way this draft sequence didn't have to look like this if they were going to intend for something like that. That would have been a very interesting play. But nonetheless, Maokai, Rek'Sai, Orianna, Varus, and Aatrox is going to be the team comp for KT. And yet again, they find themselves with a protect comp. Aatrox is enabled because everyone on the enemy team is short range, hard on engage. And the unfortunate thing for DRX this time is they're a lot worse positioned than in game number 1 because Sylas, he deals a fair amount of damage, but he gets Proto Belt, he gets Zhonya's, he gets Ludens.
Yeah.
Not packing a massive punch, and the opponents aren't incentivized to get magic resist. So all the armor is hurting Kalista, Lee Sin, and Camille.
100%. Actually, I feel like KT, as this game goes longer and longer, as it is going to be lethal tempo, so I'm glad you picked that one up. And when you've got such a low-range composition like DRX have, you may as well pick the lethal tempo Varus into it, because you will be doing so much DPS. It's Deft. Moving on over here is Championship Kalista. He's going to be pinged out, so he's now going to go back home. Wonder if this is Deft actually moving back to grab himself a sweeper. Could potentially. No. Oh, he does. So it's the old sweeper Kalista, as both himself and Chovy are going to switch over to that one. Vision available here on the red buff, as you can see. On DRX's side, looks like that is going to be where Pyosik is going to be starting as well. So added information going over to KT, always good news for them. But no scuffles here in this early game. This could be a really rough laning phase for Deft and Keria if they don't play it out well. But I guess, you know, the Maokai isn't the greatest laner in the universe. Oh, we're going to sweep the ward.
Yeah.
So they do manage to grab that one, but we've got sweepers on both sides, both 80 carries going back and grabbing one of those.
Well, Hail of Blades, Kalista for Deft with Cleanse against aiming, and this is one of Varus' strengths. Lethal tempo has the option. He's basically two champions.
Yeah, exactly.
There's attack speed Varus, which we outlined in the B1, and when DRX went for the R1, R2, Kalista Lee Sin, R3 Sylas, we know in that moment that, yeah, Varus can say, okay, I'm just going to go attack speed here. I don't need to go lethality, and now you have a very big problem. So that is one of the powers of him as a champion. It's why he's banned and picked as much as he is.
Lots of modes, like you talk about. Deft solo walking up towards this turret. Knows that without a couple of extra buttons, Smeb isn't going to be as much of an issue, but now might give him a bit of extra space. Ward's being pinged actually very accurately on KT's side. They know exactly where that ward from Deft went down. Oh, sorry, that ward from Keria went down. He's going to land that dredge line now. Smeb going to get exhausted. I feel like this happened in game number 1. Exactly the same scenario.
I don't even understand. So now Smeb is afraid. He shouldn't want to walk up. He shouldn't be standing on the right. He should be standing on the left. Should absolutely be standing on the left. He's gank immune on the left-hand side.
Well, that's immediately the flash forward is aiming. Oh no, the Pierce is not going to land, but it's not going to matter. Pyosik going to flash on forward. bonO a little bit too late. There's now a teleport from KT. They're doubling down on this 3v3. Is bonO trying to flash forward? Pyosik just going to take him down, though. An absolute disaster as the answering teleport comes through from Chovy. And they are going to be able to secure 2 kills on the bottom side of the map.
And so this whole thing could have just been avoided with champion positioning being a little bit better, because you're gank immune on the left-hand side. And so now DRX, they find themselves with 2 kills on their jungler. And Kalista and Nautilus just get bailed out, essentially, of the problems down in bot. And Ucal's lane state, not super ideal for him. Chovy doing a very good job, and bonO's just going to be very far behind the Lee Sin now.
And also, you can see Doran's having a much better laning this time around as well. So the Camille into the Aatrox is working out, at least in the early levels. As SoHwan is a very practiced Kennen player. It's very interesting having both SoHwan and Smeb in this game, and SoHwan's the one playing Kennen, but has been playing a lot of it. As the flash from Deft was not the greatest, but Pyosik does pick it up with a Tempest in the end. And this is where the yakety sack started, I believe.
And bonO just goes in. Ucal teleporting down as well. No one was on the same page in that play. DRX, they find themselves with a 1,000 gold lead, and this is basically what kind of things they need to have happen, which it's just a whole lot of mistakes that they didn't have total control over. Doran might die.
Yeah, he probably should. That's a good stun. Is now SoHwan waiting. Oh my good. I would have flashed 100%. Nerves of steel from Doran. He would have looked very silly if that Q had landed, but still, going to keep himself alive. No flash out of SoHwan, remember. So, just going to go back and possibly just going to teleport onto those minions and does so.
Well, Pyosik now looking to start up the Ocean Dragon. And Deft and Keria are going to come over, help him out with it.
Yep, they'll get some sticks into this Ocean Drake. Lock that one down. You mentioned 1,000 gold lead. Now it's 1,000 gold lead with Ocean Drake. And next one is Infernal. So you might say that DRX have rolled high, because even if it's just a single Infernal Drake, it's still worth so much money, especially to a comp like this.
Well, Infernal coming up next is going to be super valuable. And then ideally, if you're a DRX fan, you're hoping that they roll Mountain.
Yep.
If you're a KT fan, you hope for Cloud. That gives them a lot more time to continue to try to scale up. Now, even though aiming and everything, stuff went very rough for him early on, he's still at a only 13 CS lead, because Deft's going to pick up all the CS. There's 7 minions there.
Yep. Actually made it back to the lane in a pretty good state. So, as the dust settled, was able to capitalize quite nicely. As Ucal just going to drift into Fog of War, move down towards this bottom side. Could be a 4-man dive, potentially. Possibly 5-man, because SoHwan does still have his teleport, but no, he's going to use that to get back towards top lane. And DRX want none of it. He's going to back all the way out of this lane. It's going to move on down. No vision available for them. And you can see Pyosik, he's on the top side of the map. He's taking the enemy blue buff. So they are getting something for this. And I do like the defensive play coming out from DRX. I feel like they have given KT a lot more respect at the beginning of this game in comparison to game number 1. Though there were the yakety sacks gank moment down the bottom lane was certainly a little bit dicey.
Oh. Huh?
Okay, SoHwan.
Wow, World Ender.
Throw down his ultimate. Chovy picks it up for himself as well. Sharing is caring.
Yeah, and they're actually staying around top. Doran, he does have Hextech Ultimatum. They're just going to back off completely, not looking to make a dive.
Oh, that dredge line was fantastic. Decent answer, but Smeb actually going to go back in. Still has his flash available, but there are so many Ren stacks in that tree. Tears them out, and the tree is going to fall down, and aiming now finds himself alone underneath this tower. Should mean that Deft will be able to pick himself up from turret plates, and already 1-0 and 2 for the Kalista. I have a feeling that CS gap is not going to matter 1 iota.
Yeah. 2.5 minutes until that Infernal does end up coming up. And DRX, let's take a look at how this trade transpired. Smeb just walks into melee range of Nautilus, gets passive, pulled in, doesn't have flash, so he just goes back in onto Kalista and aiming, trying to do as much damage as he possibly can.
Aiming actually picking up Ninja Tavi as he goes back home. A very defensive choice. understand it's going to be very high value against the Camille, against the Lee Sin that are going to be diving on top of him. And Deft, of course. Pyosik going to be starting off Shelly. She should be taken without too much of a fuss here on DRX's side. See whether Pyosik's going to be able to use this advantage that he already has. Already with his Warrior Enchant done. So he is very, very strong at this moment in time.
Well, DRX are just very far ahead. I don't know what SoHwan was doing. Hextech Ultimatum.
Likely dying because the World Ender not available, and Pyosik's just going to put him in the ground with a Tempest. Probably would have liked that kill to go over to Doran, but beggars cannot be choosers. And now we're just going to get to work on the rest of these plates. Pyosik could just put down the Rift Herald.
The Rift Herald. Yeah, I mean, now, actually, not killing the turret is probably better. Because if you kill it this early on, Aatrox just gets a freeze, and it becomes difficult for Camille to keep extending the lead.
Yeah, right.
Whereas as long as the turret stays up, the minions have to keep going into it, and then the wave keeps coming back at a reasonable point for Camille to keep abusing Aatrox. So I actually like that he doesn't place the Rift Herald down and just immediately take it. It has a lot more value crashing into Orianna's mid lane turret and allocating a lot of gold over to Sylas. So pretty good decision making by DRX there. And yeah, I got nothing.
Yeah,
about SoHwan.
It's just the classic Lee Sin Camille combo where you can just kick him against the wall for that. You call it a mini stun, I guess, but it feels like a mega stun, actually, when it's point blank into a Hextech Ultimatum. Just means that they stay there up in the sky for a really long time. Doran goes back, picks up his Page. And wander back towards this lane as well. No turret plates to be picked up by SoHwan, who is super far behind at this stage. bonO down here, wanting to try and help out this bottom lane. You can see Pyosik is here as well. About half the cooldown of Shelly. So many wards for the Blind Monk to walk over as well. So full knowledge, but the Infernal Drake is available. And DRX have a pretty good position to come and lock that one down as the waves do reset in mid lane. DRX with 4 members should be able just to shore this one away pretty comfortably.
Well, they're going to pick up the Infernal Dragon. And DRX are now, there it is, Mountain.
Yeah, perfect.
It's going to be Mountain Soul this game for them, and that is the exact Drake that they would like. If they have that soul, they can really just use the extra EHP and the resistances to buffer just running headfirst into KT in the later stages. And for KT, they really need to just stop the bleeding, hold the gold lead at the exact amount that it is right now, not let the game fall too much by the wayside, and then really try to win that Mountain Drake fight, because it'll be very big. The problem is that Camille is so accelerated over Aatrox that she's going to have Trinity Force around the time where he might not even actually have Black Cleaver. And that is a very, very big problem.
Especially when she's gone for the cheaper option. Instead of getting the Tiamat, has gone for the Executioner's Calling. So sort of that luxury item. Pyosik's going to turn up topside again with Shelly in hand, but it's a great trade from SoHwan. World Ender going to be used. He's going to be able to make it to safety, as it looks like DRX just want to get rid of these last couple of turret plates, and they will do so with Shelly. Bit of extra time. I don't mind that. You know, you were talking about, you know, having the turret up for a little bit longer does help Doran out. But now just going to start the possible split push options and end that laning phase topside at least a little bit earlier.
Well, 3.5 minutes, everyone's just playing ping pong with each other, aiming, doing a phenomenal job, obviously, in the CS department. Now, Aatrox could free.
Oh, silly.
Yeah, we're not quite there yet. We're still in the Stone Ages.
Yeah, it's
here in LCK.
It's still summer, my dude.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to be freezing.
We're not going to freeze?
It's just too hot.
Ice Crown's not out yet.
No, it isn't. We're playing Classic over here. And it's the Burning Crusade. You have no.
Oh no.
Yeah. Wrath of the Lich King, that's when we're gonna get it. You know, that's the true promised land.
There we go.
In my personal opinion, it actually is. Do you have a
the best?
Yeah, do you have a
yeah, Wrath of the Lich King.
I feel like a lot of purists would say, no, we're heathens. It's definitely
Crusade?
vanilla or Burning Crusade.
Yeah.
It's just a special place in my heart for Wrath.
Yep.
And that was a bit of a derailment. Speaking of derailments, maybe I'll just wait to see whether anything comes of this potential gank. As bonO's going to go back. Okay, he's in exactly the right position, but maybe Smeb isn't. As there's the Fate's Call, and that will get Keria out of danger, but maybe KT not going to be so lucky. Chains of Corruption picked up there by Chovy. Still 2 minutes on this Mountain Drake. DRX will be able to taxi another minion wave towards this outer turret. Should be able to take some extra control. 3,000 gold the lead here as Doran's just fighting SoHwan. It's a complete transformation of how Doran's played out this laning phase, is that Trinity Force that you were talking about does indeed come through before the Black Cleaver is even done.
Well, SoHwan is still trying to just control this wave, and he's going to shove it back out. And now the problem is that the onus is on him to guarantee that this wave goes up. Now, okay, this wave, this cannon, Doran could have just let some of the minions die, and because he doesn't, Aatrox is now going to get minions that he shouldn't have otherwise been able to get. They're doing nothing. There's no neutral up. There's no reason to shove in the wave and just give it over to Aatrox immediately. It's the absence of thought, Alice. Absence of thought.
No, he's thinking that there are red dots to kill in this lane, and he's going to kill them as quickly as possible, silly Billy. That's what I think whenever there's red dots on the table.
All right.
Adorable skin, by the way, the pool party Orianna. Not sure how she deals with the rust issues. But look, this is a fantasy land. As Chovy, I believe that was about to run out, so decided to throw out a hijacked Chains of Corruption just in case. See Ucal farming pretty nicely, actually even with Chovy, which is a compliment to Ucal, weirdly enough. He's just really, really good at farming, as our friend Chovy. Head of the clock at the moment. Deft is going to... Wow, it's a... Well, he's turning that the Gromp into a sea urchin. The amount of Ren stacks.
Yeah.
As bonO is in the Dragon Pit. Deft is going to very comfortably take away the Rift Scuttler, put down another ward. Doran has so much pressure on this top side that SoHwan not going to be able to teleport away. Is now Deft fighting against aiming. Blade of the Rune comes down as he misses his ultimate entirely. It doesn't matter. Splashes forward, grabs the kill onto the Kalista, and now Keria is well and truly dead, and it looks like DRX have just given away this Mountain Drake.
Well, I mean, with that kill, Pyosik gonna go for a hero play. Now he's gonna have to invest a control ward to do this. No, he's been spotted out.
Yep, he's gonna land the Q.
Why aren't they getting?
bonO.
Why aren't they getting the mountain?
Because they want to get the outer turret bottom lane.
Why? Okay. They're gonna go over now, I guess. Yeah. All right.
I guess
now we're gonna go over. All right. They just want to get the turret first, which strikes me as a little bit bizarre because. Well, all right, it's not going to happen because we're in the LCK, but by getting that turret, you give Kalista the ability to freeze bottom now, and now there's no neutral. Again, if you do it this way, if you take the dragon, leave the turret up, the 500 gold, there's no turret place anymore.
Yeah.
So you're not getting any extra gold that you can't get at a later stage. So the question becomes, does the 500 gold, 250 of which is divided between Rek'Sai and Varus, so 125 extra, is it imperative that you get it right now? And without anything to force a fight on the map, no Rift Herald, no Dragon now, the answer would be no.
What about blue side Gromp? We're fighting over blue side Gromp at the moment. That's the value add right there. I completely agree.
You can see Aiming's intention. He predicted Deft to try to move back in to the chain. Keria gets locked up, no idea.
It's actually a zoning ult at that stage, right? Because if he hops left, he definitely dies because he's stuck against a wall and was never going to be able to get out of it. And if he was going to hop to the right, then he'd get hit by the Chains of Corruption. It's a rock and a hard place.
If he lands it, he doesn't have to flash. That's pretty much the only thing going on there. Love the Oblivion Orb. Out of Ucal. No one's going to really get... Well, Chovy has Merc Treads, but outside of that, no one's really going to get any magic resistance this game. And so the Sork Pen Boots plus the Oblivion Orb is going to give Ucal near true damage on a lot of DRX, unless they can start getting some Mountain Drakes under their belt to amplify ever so slightly.
Might be able to. 3.5 minutes until they will have that opportunity, and DRX remain in the lead as far as gold, still by about 3,000. But any sort of delay on Mountain Soul was a really great thing here for KT. They have the Orianna, they have the attack speed Varus, which scales so much more effectively, and even Smeb's value in the late game is going to be just massive with that huge ultimate. It will stop Deft from having a really good time, especially with the cleanse on cooldown.
And at this point, DRX are stuck between a little bit of a rock and a hard place. They're going to end up using that Rift Herald mid lane.
Yep, should be able to actually take this turret.
Yeah, they're going to crack it. Aatrox does not have the Black Cleaver complete yet. Not going to be the end of the world for him. Cull was completed by aiming down in bot lane. That's going to help stifle some of the bleeding, and DRX are ahead only about 3,000 gold. Now, that Mountain Dragon is going to give a couple hundred over to KT, but likewise DRX with the Infernal.
Yep.
Same going on there. The next Mountain Drake is a very decisive fight. It's very important that DRX gets it. If they give away a second Mountain, those amplified resistances on everyone become such a nuisance. I mean, Kalista really feels the pain.
Oh, yeah.
Because she doesn't get any pen until usually third, sometimes fourth item.
You often want to go for, yeah, at least third item Death's Dance, and then maybe you can afford to go into a last Whisper item of some kind.
And sometimes she wants to get QSS as just a random component to pick up after she gets the Runon's Hurricane. And so, right now, the map state, this is where I like to, to preach about 0 Celsius. But we're not going to have that. We're going to play ping pong with all the lanes. We are in a lull state. I feel like I haven't said that in a long time.
I know.
It's very, I've been really trying to stay away.
It's because it's denial, I think. We have had quite a few lulls. But we just don't want that language to get out there,
Yeah.
Completely understand. Deft in the mid lane will continue pushing things out. Has his Zeal, doesn't have his Runons yet, so hasn't hit that power spike. Same can be said for aiming, building towards his Ginsus. Okay, bonO going to dive on in, gets a knock-up onto Keria, whose Aftershock does keep him alive and very healthy.
Yep.
They take a Blast Cone out.
1 minute until that Mountain's up, so it's good. No one invested any summoners right now. Everyone's just going to be able to continue to wave clear. Can Varus get to the Guinsu's Rage Blade before that fight? And Aatrox with the Black Cleaver and the Warhammer is not super fine Camille in terms of items, even if he's behind her in terms of potency inside of the game.
Doran's having a great time, by the way. It's night and day.
Yeah.
Between game 1 and game 2. It actually might make a huge difference in how this game goes. That's a Morellonomicon completed there from Ucal. A little bit upset about that. I really liked seeing the Null Magic Mantle there in his back pocket. Would have been great to have a Banshee's Veil a little bit earlier.
And I think the reason for him getting Morello at this fight is that it's going to give as much power as possible for this immediate fight.
Not to mention there is a fair bit of healing on the DRX side. I mean, there's a lot of lifesteal on Deft, especially given the fact that he has gone for the Hail of Blades variety, which means he will have Taste of Blood, like a lot of more, rune healing as well. There's definitely a few reasons to get some Grievous wounds.
This is a very peculiar fight. Wait.
Okay, KT biding their time for the minute as SoHwan's taking a very long walk away. There are a lot of sticks in this, and this is just going to be going over to DRX. They will get Soul Point. Now let's see whether they can actually win the fight. As there's a stopwatch and a Fate's Call to make sure that Keria is going to be okay. bonO just going to fall down. Keria eventually does die as aiming does grab that kill, but it's a 1-for-1 at this point in time. And Deft is looking for the low health members. There's the flash of Scond from Chovy, who will go golden himself. Deft trying to find an angle onto Amy, who gets towards the backside of Smeb. Does fall down. Deft still wanting more. But it looks like DRX will back away for the moment. Yeah,
it ends up being a 1-for-2, and Chovy dealing the most damage in this entire interaction here.
4-0-1 for Pyosik.
Yeah.
Lee Sin, great champion.
Well, teleport now coming in by Chovy. They're going to start up the Baron. They do have Kalista.
Disappointed that I was ignored with my little bait there, but that's fine. He's getting better. As SoHwan Standing on top of his control ward. Looks like this Baron, once again, DRX, they do like going for these plays as Chovy finds himself a World Ender. Now pops it, moving real fast. As this Sylas and avoids so much. It looks like the Baron's going to be taken down. It's Camille that gets it for some reason. As Keria trying to get himself out of there. No flash available, so he is dead. But 4 members with Baron definitely feels good if you are a DRX fan.
Chovy might go down here. We'll see.
Can he 1v3 is going to be the question. Doesn't quite have another ability to hijack just yet. As can he actually go one? No, he can't. Kingslayer is decent, but not decent enough. And it's SoHwan locking down the kill.
Yeah, they gave SoHwan the kill, which I think is very surprising. And allocating it to Orianna, I think, would provide a lot more than the Aatrox. So right here, the thing that's so bizarre is the blue trinket spots no dragon. We come back into live, and yeah, looks like Varus was trying to get the Scuttle Crab.
Oh no, you're going to regret doing that, SoHwan. I think Doran wants to kill you, but no. Ucal's going to go over there. He can throw the beach ball over to SoHwan if he would like to. The fact that it's not a beach ball actually bothers me, to be honest. It's like a little whale, which is adorable, but like you're a champion that actually has like a little ball. Like it may as well be a beach ball. As we should probably talk about the team fight, I guess. But still, it's frustrating.
Well, the team fight ends up being a bit of a blowout. DRX already secured the dragon for themselves. Chovy drawing a lot of aggro. Some very nice movement. He even goes in, takes down the Raptor camp immediately thereafter. And DRX, they secure themselves the Baron. Honestly, Keria didn't need to do this big sacrifice. There were other ways for all of the members to pretty much get out. Someone might argue that he drew enough time for them to just walk above the Baron pit.
Yeah, it might have been like respecting the tunnel flash out of the Rek'Sai maybe to just make sure there's no turnaround as Doran is going to hookshot away from SoHwan here. Ucal is coming in to try and defend. Yeah, it feels like we just come out of replays to Doran killing someone. That's just how this game is going. He's very close to getting that Flame Horizon as well, sitting at 10 ahead of the clock. Very nicely done. Not to be outdone, Chovy is 20 ahead of the clock at the moment. His CSD stats, pretty good, one could say.
Yeah. Ooh. And Deft really caught up in the CS department, and there's the third item, Death Stance, that is going to be coming in for Kalista. Things are looking very grim right now for KT. They're down 7,000 gold. They're matched on the one Mountain Drake that they have, the Infernal, still on the side of DRX.
It feels like CVMax has gone back to wanting his players to get as much experience again. They had a couple of 2-0s, which CVMax was not happy with. Needs to make sure that they stay out on the Rift for as long as possible. Pyosik and Keria haven't played a lot of LCK games, and so they threw away game one in order to win here, because this does look like a very different team. And I feel like it, in all seriousness, must have been a little bit of a talking to that the DRX players got, just to say, all right, guys, I know you were having a bit of fun there in game number one. This is the LCK and we need you to win. Now it looks like they are concentrating on that just a little bit more. And I think Doran is a good example of exactly what happens when they do shore themselves up. It was much more fun gaming coming out from the top laner. I hope this is a sign of things to come, Ella.
Yeah. 15 seconds until that Mountain Soul, and KT is looking to clear out vision on the left side of the map.
All right. That's not where you're supposed to be.
You can't make it up. You actually just can't.
No, there's 2 minutes until Baron.
You cannot make it up. You just really can't.
They turned their maps Australian for a little while. They're like, oh wait, no! It's the other side of the map! Duh, blimey. Oh dear. In all seriousness, KT must have just felt like they had no ability to fight there. Didn't have flashes that they required or abilities. I mean, they're missing one flash, one summoner spell actually. Someone's teleport just about to come back up, but otherwise it's bonO's flash. They could have fought for it. Decided not to. Opting to scale.
Yeah. There's no way for DRX to lose this one. I can't.
Okay, well, unless Pyosik's just going to dive on in and throw his life away. So I beg to differ. He's going to flash. Safeguard comes in as well. So he's going to walk for the moment, but there is the ulti out from bonO. Chovy gets a Chains of Corruption. Stay.
I'm here with you.
Yeah, thank you, because I can't do this alone, I promise you.
We went from LSAK lull state to literally seething. Now.
Yes, I think so.
Oh, man.
No.
Okay, well, Baron's up in 45 seconds. That's not the end of the world, but Pyosik does end up losing an item for free because Guardian Angel...
Yeah, it's not an item.
It's not an item. I mean, he is still getting the armor and the damage from it, but yeah. Doran was not thinking the same, for good reason, too,
Yeah,
by the
no,
way.
absolutely.
Doran was intentionally not on that page. Whatever. He's a blind monk for a reason, you know? I mean,
That's true. I mean, Doran probably just said, oh, well, there's 4 people there. And he's like, oh, dang it, I didn't see those. And Doran was like, well, of course you did. Guess that's probably how the interaction went. 7,000 gold, the lead here for DRX still. And Mountain Soul means that it feels like even more. Doran's back to being by himself, which I'm sure he likes. Rabbitt's Hydra completed, as well as his Death Dance.
Oh!
Buff is now they're just going to pile in on
Doran?
Likely that he's going to fall down, and he does pretty immediately. As we're taking it in turns to run into 5 people by ourselves, I guess.
I don't know what the series is anymore, Atlas. This is, we're in the Twilight Zone here.
Yeah.
In week, and like, to kick off the week, too.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. I feel like
I'm looking forward to this.
This is a sign of things to come. I'm terrified, 100%. As now, got some vision in the pit. I think everyone knows exactly what's going on here. As Pyosik's going to tag up Smeb. Chovy wants to get in here as well. So likely to be a 50-50 as Pyosik remains over the wall. Massive 4-man knockup with that depth charges. Look at the AoE. It's now Pyosik looking to try and get in amongst it. Gets the kickback. Doesn't land the knockup onto Aiming, though, who's kiting so beautifully. But now Chovy will find the backline. That is just a casual Q. It's going to be able to lock down that kill, and Deft grabs it in the end with the Ren stacks. And now SoHwan, 1 versus 3 is not going to do it. Doran throws his life away, and it's all a bait as he teleports bottom lane and knocks down the inhibitor turret from 1 head to 5. That's what we just witnessed.
Yes, quite, Atlas. I really like how astute you did just put it. It was all actually a cruel ploy by Doran.
It was.
Yeah. To get caught out, he knew in that moment that the sequence of events that just unfolded would happen. Yeah.
Oh yes, oh yes. Have you seen Inspector Gadget? Do you remember that show? And you see the stroking the white